Hey everyone, it's Frederick Kramer here, and in this video I'm going to explain how to remove 90% of your client headaches to make sure that you can actually focus on what's important for scaling your business, to make sure that your actual service for your clients is getting better than before, and to make sure that they just don't moan around and disturb you from doing what you actually want to do. In case you don't know me yet, my name is Frederick Kramer and I'm on a mission to revolutionize productivity by helping agency owners double, triple or quadruple the speed which they get rich. So without further ado, let's get into that and make sure that your clients don't keep you from getting rich quickly. Your clients, on the one hand, need to have the right expectations, and if they expect the wrong stuff from you and expect that you are going to do everything for them, you're going to reply immediately, they are immediately just going to take that. It's kind of like the anchoring bias, right? If they are focused on something and if they have a certain expectation, then they're just going to act and behave like if that was the truth, and they are going to disturb you if you didn't tell them at the beginning that you are not going to do this that way and such things. So that's it for the explanation of the problem. Now I'm going to explain how you can actually make sure that your clients are less disturbing and less annoying and that they don't moan about your services, which is, by the way, not so much your actual service, but a few other things. So the first thing that you can do is your contract. And this is essentially the point. It's not going to have a massive effect on your close rate, only at the point where you'll just stop closing clients that will be trash anyway. And what you want to do is, in your contract, you want to state what they can expect from you and what you expect from them. And when they sign that contract, every single time when they deviate from that and start to behave in a way that is not in accordance to that contract, you can just tell them, sorry, on the contract it's saying that and you've signed that. And like obviously you want to be like a bit more polite in that sense and a bit more diplomatic. But let's say, for example, you do like some done for you service with, I don't know, so like you write the YouTube scripts for them, which is something that I did in the past and I'm still doing for some clients. And for example, there I just want to tell them, okay, you have to get some of the ideas and that's expected from you, because if the ideas don't come from you, then you're probably not going to understand what you're talking about. And when I write something like that in the contract and they don't give me any ideas, and the contract is also saying, which it should, that if there are no ideas, then I can't help them and I can't give them any ideas and video scripts, right? If they don't give me ideas, and that if they don't put in the ideas at the right point of time, then I can't give them any guarantee that I'm going to get them a result after a certain time frame, which makes perfect sense. Sorry, I forgot how I started the sentence, but anyway, when they disbehave in a way, then I can just tell them, okay, if you want this to happen and give you some great results, then you need to give me ideas. Some things like that. I hope that made sense. So you can really do this ethically, and it is just a way of improving the service, right? And there are some things required from your clients, which is that they invest their time, that they give you some key information, that they give you their logins or something. And which is also something, by the way, I'd recommend you to do right at the beginning. Just get all the logins, all the data that you need from them, because then you don't need to ask them every single time and you don't need to wait for them, which ultimately makes you quicker and your service is just getting better. People like you more. Positive feedback loop, right? So that's one thing, like I said, and not only in the contract do you want to set expectations, but also once you're onboarding them, which is obviously not just the contract, but then again, you want to tell them that your service is on a high level and you want to make sure that you give them the proper results, and then but it's just like common sense, right? If you want to get someone good results, they need to be working as well. Even if it is a done for you service, people just still need to do some things, and you need to tell them that this is going to be necessary, and you need to repeat this. If you have just like a normal like done for you service, then you can just have like one like onboarding video. You're obviously going to call this like introduction or something, and you're also going to talk about the specific deliverables that you're having, but you also just want to set expectations. And for example, even if you had like an info business, you'll still have that in the first module, setting expectations. Or when you have a coaching thing, like you also want to have like a little onboarding video that is going to explain everything. So now that when you're doing that, you should have a contract in place that is making sure that they know what they have to do and they know what they can expect from you and what not. And what I personally have in my contract as well, or had when I did like done for you services for people, was that if they expected me to do something that was not connected to the core deliverables that I had, then I'll just charge like $50 an hour or $100 an hour for that. And I will obviously ask them before that. And like some more things, you just want to have like a clean contract. I know that Sam Ovens had a pretty good contract template, but I don't know if that is still available on YouTube, or if that, I have this from his program, but I don't know if that's available on YouTube. And anyway, I'm not going to give you like a specific contract because I'm not liable in that sense. and I don't want to get sued from anyone because of that. Just make sure that you have like proper expectation setting in there. So yeah, you have that, then you have set expectations properly, so they know what is required from them, and they know that you probably cannot guarantee them results, which is something I'd highly recommend you to do when they don't actually follow through with everything, right? Because if you have a guarantee and the guarantee is, or the work that is required to make that guarantee happen has for some part their involvement inside of it, then obviously when they are not involved, then you simply can't get the results. And obviously you still want to make sure that your clients are happy, but at least this is going to keep you from like stupid clients who don't follow through. And also you can add things in there. For example, like you can just make sure that they behave properly, right? For example, if you have like a coaching business and you see that your clients are not showing up on time for the calls, then just make this a requirement for the guarantee, because there's nothing wrong with that. You just want to have committed people that are serious with everything. And if they don't do that, then it's just going to be a lot easier. And this is not to leverage, like not having to pay them the guarantee. This is just to make sure that they have skin in the game and that they are serious about this. And when you write something in there, they're like 20 times more likely to actually show up. Yeah, that's that. And then as soon as you have that, you want to have a support structure, which is not like some basic thing. You want to pick one messenger, like WhatsApp when you're not so far established, or Slack or something, like one place where they can message you and ask you questions or some support things. I will honestly for a very long time keep this on a low-key level, but when you have like a very big like operation there, then you can, I don't know, do like email support or something. You want to make sure that this is there, and also that they know that it's going to take some time for you to actually respond to that, right? Because if you want to, or from their perspective, they want you to deliver well, and then you can simply tell them, okay, I want to deliver well, and I need to focus for that. And if I want to focus, then I cannot check my messenger 2 times a day. I can only do this once a day. By the way, turn the notifications off. One very simple thing for more focus. Just make sure that they know that, and that they can accept when you just take sometimes maybe 48 hours to just check their messages, right? Or 24 hours, right? Sometimes there is something rather urgent and then you want to do that, but just make sure that you only have to check that like once per day. This is what I'm doing, by the way. And then at the end of the day, you just want to see if they have messaged you something. If they're good clients, by the way, they're probably not going to do that so often. And when they have, then you can quickly check, okay, how urgent is this? And when you see that this is urgent, then you can just plan it in for the next day. If it's incredibly urgent and someone is going to die or something to that equivalent is going to happen when you don't do this immediately, you might as well do it immediately, but I would highly suggest you to not do that. Or suggest you not do that anyway. You want to make sure that you have the ability to react to what they have messaged you on the next day, or maybe in a week when it's not something very urgent but some like general question. You might even state in your contract that when they have a specific question that is not related to their direct progress, that you only answer that like once per week or something. It's going to save you a ton of time, and the good clients who are logical thinkers will just accept that, and there's not much going to happen. That's essentially the delaying the response. And then what you can also do, which is pretty straightforward, just charge more for your service, right? A client that paid like $500 is going to be much more of a nightmare client than a client who's paying like $4 or $5 grand for that, and who knows that the worth of your service and you as a person and your offer and everything, right? I think I don't need to explain this any further. In case you're wondering like why is price so effective, just watch some videos from Alex Hormozi around increasing your price. He explains that very, very well, and I think it's not necessary here. But increasing your price is very good for getting like more high quality clients. And at the beginning of your business, you probably can't start right away and charge like 10 grand or something for what you're doing. But so at the beginning you have to do something else, but in the long run, increasing the price is going to help. So at the beginning, you cannot charge that much, and you'll just have to deal with some more nightmare clients or some clients who just don't behave properly. For example, when you want to start and you have clients who you are doing the work for free, you just have to expect that they're probably not going to be so committed, and that you have to wait for them or something, that they ghost you. But if a client has paid you like 5 grand, and there is a guarantee that is saying like you can only request a refund if you're properly behaving and doing the stuff that is necessary for you to get your result, then it's just not going to happen that they're just randomly going to ghost you. And if so, then you just make money without having anything. But still, obviously, you want to make sure that your service is better. But these things all together already will make sure that they will cut away like 90% of your client headache. And obviously the main headache is always when your product is shit. So just make sure that your service or what you're doing is actually something that you in the first place like, or at least can learn very well, and then something that you're good at, right? That's obviously the main thing, but all these other things can still fuck up the delivery process with your clients and the communications. And you're also just going to get less like social proof or testimonials when your clients have this mindset around that. And I wanted to give a quick story to that. So the very first client that I ever had, it didn't take me long to realize, okay, dude, I need to have a contract, because like I had one client without a contract, and then I was like, okay, fuck, if I'm not having this, then nothing's ever going to happen. And this guy, like I've written him something, say that anyway, I made that, and then he was like, yeah, it's quite good. I made some changes here, then it was completely different to what I was writing. I was like, bro, like that's not going to work. Obviously, I didn't say that way, it won't work like this. And then he was like, yeah, I made it like this. I've written like an entire fucking VSL script. And then this guy was like, yeah, I'm just going to record it like this. His recording was trash. It didn't convert. He didn't get so many results, or the results were mediocre. Then I also. Yeah, I've written like a page for him, and he tested it on like 80 people or something, and then it was like, yeah, this page doesn't work. And I was like, yeah, 80 people, do you think 80 people give like a reasonable perspective on whether that's converting or not when you have 400,000 subscribers on YouTube and things like that? That didn't work. Then he also wanted to do like calls with me, and we were on these calls, and it was just a pure waste of time. And I was like, honestly, I could run his business better than I can. I could run his business better than he can, right? And of course, like in terms of like the actual expertise for those specific product, it was related to fitness. He's obviously a bit smarter than I am at that point and can do this better. But in terms of the operational part of the business and actually getting clients, I could do this 10 times better, right? And you need to give this attitude, obviously not in an arrogant way, but you want to give this to your clients, and you want your clients to realize that you have more of an idea and plan than they have, because even if they pay your price, they sometimes still believe that they have more of an idea, and that is something that you immediately want to set clear, because otherwise you're just going to get like tons of headaches, right? It's very key to understand this, and it's also key that your clients understand this. And then there's another quick concept I wanted to explain, which is something I call polarization. This is not like some like polarized relationships or something. This essentially, what I'm meaning with that is, let's say you have like sand, and you have like sand on like on the ground, right? And there's some part of the ground where you don't want to have sand, let's say here, and here you want to have sand. And what you do is that you just take the sand from the middle and you put it on the sides, right? And essentially that is the same thing as what I'm doing when I want to focus, right? When I want to focus, I take the social interactions out of there, and then I make sure that the social interactions are all in one place, so that when I actually do interact with the people, that the quality of that is going to be higher, right? So whenever you want to do something, just make sure that you're just doing this one thing, and that the other thing that usually other people want you to do is also somewhere else without other things in that case. So like I said, if you might even say, don't take this as relationship advice, right? But when you're in a relationship and the other person just wants you to take like time for her or him, and you want to work at that point, then you just tell that person, okay, now I'm going to work because I need to be focused there. But therefore, when I'm doing something with you, I'm not going to be thinking about the work. It's just, I'm just going to be present, right? It's the same thing. You also, obviously, with a client relationship is usually different, but it's the same thing there, right? You just want to give them high quality responses, and if they have like a 2-digit IQ, they're probably going to, double-digit IQ, they're probably going to understand that this is a better way to do this, and if they don't get this, then just fuck them. They're just like my clients, you don't want to work with them, right? And by the way, the client that was so trash at the beginning, he also just paid me $500, and I think he didn't really give a fuck about anything. So that is that. And then now I want to give you some actionable steps once again to make sure that everything is like 100% wrapped up for you, that you know what you can exactly do and what you can do to practically decrease the amount of pain that you're getting from the clients and the headaches and everything. So first of all, work on your contract in case you don't have this already, right? Make sure that your contract contains specific things, specific deliverables that you will give them, and specific things that you will not give them. Obviously, everything that is not listed there is what you don't give them. And then make sure that you have like an additional fee in case they want something that is not these deliverables, and that they have to obviously confirm that they want to have like some additional part, because that's like $100 an hour is usually pretty expensive, and obviously you can also just have some control over what you're doing. And if you're doing less than $100 an hour, you might just take like very long on that and deliver that. Obviously you don't want to do that, but you want to make sure that you have these deliverables there. And then also things that are expected from them, so things that they should do. And then some general things, like maybe that the contract is also stating that the support system works like this, the response time could take up to 24 hours and something, and do it like that. And what like 99% of the high ticket businesses who have contracts are also doing is that they give the contract to the person after the payment. I'm not so sure whether that's really 100% ethical, but at least that's going to make sure that they don't negotiate with you on the contract or want changes in the fucking contract, as if you will change the contract for every single individual fucking client that you have, right? Hopefully you're not doing that. So yeah, that's that with contract. And like I said, yeah, you want to state a policy. Obviously you already have clients probably. You want to state that policy and remind them of that, but you want to do this with an incentive, right? You're not just going to start and tell them, yeah, you need to do this, I'm not going to do that. You need to tell them, okay, we want to have a tranquil and focused delivery process here, and to make sure that this is happening, I need to focus, I need some things from you, some data at the beginning, and you need to fill this out, and that's that, and you know, such things, and make sure that it sounds like pretty easy to do, and it usually is as well. It's just some commitment from them. And then you tell them, by the way, if you're not doing this, or in the contract, if you take so and so long to do that, or longer than so and so, then the fee is going to be due, and I can't refund you anything in case you have a guarantee, right? That is something you want to do. If you don't have clients in the first place, then you can obviously just have this in the onboarding process. But right now, if you already have clients, just go to them and tell them, okay, sure, okay, John, I want to make sure that my delivery process is as good as it can. If that's okay with you, I will, or just do it, because they can't change anything, right? Just tell them, I can only reply within 24 hours or something, or in like, in these 24 hours I can reply in these 24 hours, and when you're unlucky it might take you the full 24 hours until I can reply to you. And yeah, just tell them that it's going to take some time and that you need to focus on what you're personally doing, and they should understand that. And if not, honestly, just drop them as clients. Like no client is so stupid that is anything worthwhile, that is going to achieve anything, that they don't get that. Right, and that's that. Then I would recommend you at least to do this like once per day. So check the messages or support inquiries that they have once per day. You can also do this like twice a day, but I would not do this more. And I would, very importantly, schedule that. Schedule when you check the messages, and don't, right? So you want to be the initiator. You want to be the person that goes to the message and sees, okay, is there a message? You don't want the message to come to you when you're doing something else. This is the pure definition of distraction, right? If somebody else is going to you to do something, but you're already doing something, that's just distraction, right? You want to make sure that you go to them and then see that is working, right? And then obviously, like I said, you just want to plan this for, like, obviously you're probably having a calendar, you just want to plan in the certain things, and usually they don't even take more than like 15 minutes. And if things are not very urgent, you might as well have like one day in your weeks, for example Saturday or something, where you just do all the client stuff, because if it takes like 10 minutes for this one client, then like another 5 minutes for the other client, then it just makes more sense if you just put this like all into like 3 hours or something, however long that's going to take, instead of having like 15 minutes here on Monday, then 5 minutes here on Tuesday after lunch. You know, it's a lot easier to understand that. And yeah, this is essentially everything. If you follow these steps and make sure that you're communicating this properly with your clients, and are at least in some way good at persuasion, then like communication, then this is going to remove a ton of your client headaches. By the way, if you want to scale an agency, but at the end of each day you feel like you could have done 10 times more and that you're getting distracted all the time, there's a link in the description where you can check out how we can help you beyond these videos. It doesn't matter to me really if you click that or not. What matters to me is that your time is being saved, so I wanted to leave that door open. That's everything for this video today. Thanks for watching to the end, mate. Hope this could help you, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.